Good morning, my gardening friends, and welcome back to Rocky Mountain Gardens. Today, I'm going to be showing you the latest and last blooms of my garden, and I sure hope you will join me on this little walk. And we'll see some beautiful plants that you might want to put in your garden as well to get that later autumn color. And guess what I'm having for my lunch today? A tomato sandwich. I have been waiting all summer for my tomatoes to be large enough and ripe enough to make a delicious tomato sandwich. And guys, let me just step away for a second and show you how I made it. Okay, we're back again, and I just wanted to talk briefly about the autumn garden. You know, in autumn, many of our plants are starting to look a little scraggly and a little tired. But there are those late bloomers, like I mentioned earlier, that are just spectacular at this time of the year. And you can enjoy them, even though we're sort of transitioning to the autumn season. And I love the autumn too. And we'll be doing some autumn decorating later in my home. Can't wait to share that with you. But in the meantime, let's take that last gasp of summer and enjoy it as well. So let's go to have our tour. Friends, if you enjoy the color purple, these echinacea or purple cone flowers are simply delightful. And if you leave them up for later, don't deadhead them, then you will have seeds that you can spread around your garden and get some more purple cone flowers. And then swinging over here, I wanted to show you my liatris, which is a slightly different shade of purple, but oh my goodness, I love these beautiful flowers. The common name for them is gay feather, but let's take a look close up at them. Look at those tiny little petals. They start blooming from the top and then move down the flower stalk. And oh my goodness, I always look forward to seeing them late in the summer. As we walk on my garden path here, I wanted to share with you this really, I don't know, it is a Missouri primrose, bright yellow. Oh my gosh, look at that. It is a huge bloom. And this is its second year here in my garden, so it isn't huge or not blooming with as many flowers as I would like, but hopefully next year we'll get more. Just so pretty. This year it looks as if I'm having a fairly bountiful harvest on my tomatoes, and this variety here is called Celebrity. It's always hard to get large tomatoes here in Colorado, since our growing season is so short and we also have such cool days comparatively. And you know, tomatoes really enjoy hot weather to grow large. But on my smaller tomatoes here, and I forgot the variety, I'll put it up on the screen, I am getting quite a few. I usually have a lot more success with the little grape tomatoes and so on. So I'm so happy about that. These are delicious. And then over here, my parsley has just really gone to town this year. And coming around over here, I'm going to share with you, if I can get over here, my scarlet runner bean, which I planted from seed. And we are getting lots of these pretty little scarlet flowers, which are so cute. This is a great vine to grow in the summer, even if you do not eat the beans, which are relatively flavorless, I've heard. This is my first year growing it, and I am not sure. Well, what I have read is that they prefer, or it is better to eat them when they're very young, the beans, because they get rather tough and unsavory later. But look here, I've got some delicious basil growing. I have 2 basil plants, and very soon it'll be time for the summer tomato sandwiches. I wanted to be sure to share with you this thread leaf coreopsis that is so delicate and has these sort of lemony colored flowers, lemony yellow. Love them so much, but of course they are a late summer bloomer for us to enjoy. So look at these really abundant tall garden phlox. This variety is called David, and it is supposed to be less susceptible to powdery mildew. And of course, the moonshine yarrow is still in bloom. Swinging over to my huge patch of Joe Pye weed, you can see these delightful pink flowers that the pollinators just adore. In fact, I see a bumblebee right here on this flower. He's just so cute. These flowers get like a little bit fuzzy as they open up. You can see these tiny little narrow petals that do open. And you know, if we swing around over here, lots more of my black-eyed Susan are blooming right here, and a few rose campions are still in bloom. So gorgeous. All right, friends, as promised, I wanted to give you a close-up of my sunflowers. And as you can see, I have some quite beautiful blooms, well, little buds here actually, that are going to burst open. But I do have some of the sunflowers that have opened all the way, and they are showing their very pretty faces. Whoops, there we go. Let's get a good look at these sunflowers. I really like this variety. I'm not sure what the variety name is, but I'll try to put it up here on the screen for you in case you're interested. Now, notice that these that are just about to open, these buds, are quite a bit taller, and I think that is because over there on closer to my Joe Pye weed, they're getting more sun, so they're growing more vigorously. and these shorter ones, because these are all the same varieties, simply did not get as much sun. So they're a little stunted with their growth, but I'm certainly going to be planting sunflowers again next year. I just love their cheery faces in the fall garden. Walking over next to my patio here is this pot which has bubblegum supertunias, a really bright pink color. And then here I have a whole patch of purple asters, and I don't know the variety since I dug these up from one of my friend's gardens, but they have really spread and done well. The only thing this year is that they have gotten some powdery mildew on them. And guys, look off to see all of my such pretty bright yellow black-eyed Susans that are growing. Oh my goodness, I just adore black-eyed Susans. This is just a really pretty view right here next to my patio. And then friends, I wanted to share with you also, if you recall, I did a video about powdery mildew and prevention of it. And I really used the solution in that video, and I'll put a card in the video right up here at the top for you to have a look at that video if you'd like. But this is a tall garden phlox which had terrible powdery mildew last year, and because I've treated it over the course of the summer about 3 times with that homemade solution, look, there's no evidence of powdery mildew at all. And the blooms are not quite as vigorous as I had hoped that they would be, but I'll just keep my fingers crossed for next year that it's even better. Now I would like to show you my collection of caladiums, and earlier in the spring I did put out a video on planting caladiums, and here we are in the mountains in Colorado, and this was kind of an experiment. I wasn't sure exactly how well these caladiums would do here since they're tropical plants, but as you can see right here, we have some beautiful caladiums that are doing quite well. And here's another one that only grew a much smaller size. Then over on this side of my sidewalk in my side yard, we have 2 that are growing here, and they're very healthy, but here we are, it's September, and they're still so small. I'm not hopeful about them getting large and luscious like you see in warmer climates. Here's 2 of the white varieties that look so pretty here. And then if we walk on down, we're gonna walk through here on my flagstone path to this area where I have my hosta garden. For those of you who have seen my video on secrets to hosta care, here are my hostas still showing a lot of hail damage from way back in the beginning of July. They have recovered some, but I do have, here's a small, very pretty caladium with the white color. And here's another one. And then over here, this one's doing much better, looking very vigorous. And we're going to take a look at one more area of my yard. Now over here in another one of my shade garden areas, I planted, you can see there are 3 caladiums right here, 2 of the red varieties, and right there in the back is one of the white ones. This area gets very little sun a little bit of morning sun. You can see another caladium is popping up right here. Let's see. Oh, there's one over here. It's really tiny. Look at that tiny baby. But my problem with our cooler temperatures is that the caladiums really, I think, struggle, especially if they don't get enough warmth. And in Colorado, where our warmth comes from, 100% is the sun. So here's a white and a small little red one again. And I think I'm gonna try growing them again next year. I'm just gonna plant them in areas where they will get more sun, because obviously in Colorado they need a lot more sun to be able to thrive. I would like to thank you all for stopping by my channel. I sure enjoy seeing you and hearing your comments. If you have any questions about the plants that you saw in my video, please ask me those questions in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them and help you out with any gardening problems or issues that you might have. And other than that, I invite you to subscribe if you're new here. And also, I would like to wish you all a very happy autumn, and come back, because as I said, we're going to be doing autumn crafts and autumn decorating here in my home, because at Rocky Mountain Gardens we do gardens and home. And of course, you know, I, at least in my climate, cannot garden in the winter time, but there's many other things that we can do to make our homes warm and welcoming for our guests and our families to enjoy year round. So if you love vintage and if you love cottage sort of farmhouse style, this is a place where you might want to be. See you again very, very soon.